Servus everyone and welcome to another video. Today is a big day. I'm trying to see if I can get the ASUS P55T2P4 to post, install Windows 98 and access the internet. Let me introduce you to the team which will assist me to achieve this task. First we have the good old Pentium 200. This is the non-MMX version, clocked at 200 MHz. The CPU I will be using has already a cooler with thermal paste mounted. Luckily, I have the same processor twice, so you can see what hides below the heatsink. I don't like that the fan has this big cable, so we'll get rid of it and use the motherboard connector instead. There will be a total of 96 MB of system memory. The responsibility to provide an output to the monitor falls on the S3 Trio 64V+. Since the graphic card is not very good in rendering 3D, I may add this 3DFX card in the future. This is a Voodoo 1 3D accelerator add-on card that revolutionized gaming on the PC. It requires another graphics card to take care of the 2D rendering. As a storage device, I got a 45GB Western Digital 450AA from eBay. A more time period correct drive would have a maximum capacity of 6GB. Nevertheless, I hope this drive is in good working condition. And finally, to get that great Windows 98 sound, the Sound Blaster Live, which was released in August 1998. And there you have it. Those are all the components I will be using for this build. Additionally, there will be an Ethernet card to connect to the internet. Without further ado, let's start with the assembly. Let's start with the memory installation. The memory needs to be installed in pairs of equal size. There is one pair with 64 MB and one pair with 32. They have to be installed next to each other on the motherboard. With those memory modules, the system will have a total memory capacity of 96 MB. When installing the modules, keep an eye out on the correct orientation. The notch in the middle of the connection pads is a good indicator. Next, I will place the motherboard on this back panel of the case. Once everything is screwed down, the panel can be placed easily into the case. This makes the installation a lot easier. However, there is already a small issue that I don't want to ignore. The tiny standoffs are located only on the left side. Therefore, when putting some force on the right edge of the motherboard, it flexes and could possibly touch the metal panel. This could cause shorts and potentially damage the components. I'll be placing a piece of cardboard below the motherboard to prevent this from happening. And remember this cable? It is time to replace it so we can plug the fan into the motherboard directly. Now I need to solder some wires back to the cooler cables so that I can plug them into the motherboard. I will use the connectors from those cables I purchased for some Arduino projects. The black tubes are heat shrink tubes. They shrink when exposed to heat and can be used to cover solder joints on wires. Time to plug in the main power cables to the motherboard. Make sure that the black wires are in the center. Next, let's place the CPU back into the socket and connect the wire to the fan header on the motherboard. The manual gives information about the polarity of the fan header pins. The red wire goes to the middle pin with 12 volts. The black wire connects to ground. To connect serial peripherals like a mouse, the COM ports need to be connected. There is also a dedicated printer port called LPT. Now all that's missing is to install the hard disk, plug in the graphics card, the sound card, and connect all the drives with ribbon cables. And there it is, the finished build with all the components installed. Let's try it out. I'll be honest with you, I had many issues to get the system up and running. But the good news is that none of the problems were caused by the ASUS P55T2P4. The hard disk is unfortunately defective. I have never heard the sound that this disk made when I switched on the PC. And bad sectors are unfortunately present in critical areas of the disk, which cannot be repaired. One memory stick most likely doesn't work and needs further investigation. I just replaced one memory module that I assumed to be defective. And finally I had issues with the serial mouse not working. However, that was easily fixable. I may make another video just troubleshooting all those issues. But enough with the sad stuff. After I replaced all the defective components, I was able to install Windows 98. So enjoy the rest of the video where you can see the installation process of Windows 98. I hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully I will see you in the next one.